All right, we're going to go ahead and get started this morning. I know I'm holding a microphone and you can't hear that I'm holding a microphone, but it's going to the video, so just ignore the fact that I'm holding this. So I'm Jessica Smith. I am the Director of Community Engagement at United Way, and I serve as the co-volunteer coordinator for Worlds of Work. And I'm going to let Miss Brianna introduce herself before we get started.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Brianna Walker, and I'm Community Development Specialist for Alabama Power, and I am Jessica's sidekick for the Volunteer Committee.
Thank you. I've just recruited Brianna this year, so she's learning along with y'all. So, but she's going to be fantastic in years to come and helping me when I remember that I have somebody to help me. So, to get started, we're just going to talk about kind of what the week is going to look like, and if something that I talk about doesn't apply to the area that you signed up to volunteer for, don't worry, it'll all make sense when you get here next week. So on Monday, March the 11th, the career presenters will be setting up. They'll start at 2 o'clock. That's just there for information purposes. That y'all don't have to do anything with that. Worlds of Work is going to be Tuesday, March the 12th through Thursday the 14th. So I know a lot of y'all, my FAME kids, y'all signed up on the days that y'all have class. Is that right? Okay. So last year, some of the FAME guys and girls got here and they were like, we want to come back. Can we come back tomorrow? So if that works out, you are more than welcome to come back every day because we always need volunteers. T-shirt pickup, if you want your T-shirt before you get here to volunteer on Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday, I will be here on Monday afternoon from 3 to 5:30 if you want to swing by and get your T-shirt. If not, you're welcome just to pick it up when you get here for your volunteer slot. Okay, parking. So when you get here, we're going to look at a map in a minute and it'll show you where to park. But when you get here for your volunteer time slot, this parking lot will be completely full of career presenters. So all of the parking lots around the Civic Center will be off limits. The volunteer parking will be at the softball fields down here. There will be a van that will bring you up here. If it's a pretty day, it's not a long walk. But just watch out for those vans. They have magnets on the side of them that say shuttle. You can just hop in. They'll bring you up here. They'll also be running at the end of the day to take you back to your car. So just make sure you're parking at the softball field because the baseball fields will be full of buses during the day. And like I said, all of these parking lots connected to the Civic Center will have career presenters there. So check in. When you get here and it's time for your volunteer slot, you're going to come up to the second floor. There is an elevator right out here, but there's also the stairs as soon as you come in the door. We will be upstairs. There'll be volunteer check-in signs. You'll come to us. You'll get your name tag. If you're a flex volunteer, you won't have anything, but if you're a timekeeper, we'll give you a lovely air horn. If you're a class guide, we will give you a sign that you're going to lead your students around for a specific school. So you'll just make sure you're coming to check in with us and you'll get all the things that you need for the day. So the student rotations, what that looks like is they rotate from 8:15 to about 1:55. 1:55 is on Wednesday. So if you're here on Tuesday or Thursday, it's a little bit earlier than that. So the time that you signed up for, that is about 15 to 20 minutes before the students arrive. And I really recommend that you get here at that time that you signed up for because students will arrive early. We learned last year that sometimes buses get here early and the kids are eager to get off the bus. They're excited to be here. And so they start letting them off the bus and then there's not a class guide out there and it just creates all sorts of chaos. So try to get here as close as you can to your the time that you registered for. Perfect, thank you. Again, you can see the parking. So this is the event area. This is the Oxford Civic Center. The personal vehicle parking is down there by the softball fields. And then you can see the bus parking is going to be up there near the baseball fields on the other side of the lake. All right, you can go the next. Okay, this is a map of Worlds of Work. This is going to be the inside of the Oxford Civic Center. How many of y'all have volunteered here before? Okay, so it's broken into 5 different zones. I know looking at this map, it looks a little confusing, but I promise it's not. So zone 1 is going to be the gym, the large gym on the other side, and there's a glass room right up there. We call it the glass room, and then right outside the back of the gym. That is all zone 1. So if you are a class guide and your group, you'll have a schedule in the back of your name tag. And your group starts in zone 1, you will get them off the bus and you will take them to the gym, and they will have 20 minutes to roam through that whole zone. And then you will hear the air horn, and that will be your turn to rotate. And like I said, you'll have a schedule on the back of your name tag. They'll go from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If they start in 3, they'll go 3, 4, 5, 1, 2. So it will be, I promise it sounds complicated, but it's really not. Zone 2 will actually be in these rooms. So this whole area will be opened up, and that will be zone 2, as well as the little semicircle right outside. Zone 3 will be at the end of this building outside. It'll run parallel to the building. Zone 4 will be, and these will be marked off outside as well. If you're looking at the parking lot, the left side of the parking lot will be zone 4. And that is going to be your agriculture and outdoor resources. You'll be able to see kind of where it divides. And then zone 5 will be this side of the parking lot. And that will be public safety, transportation, distribution, and logistics. So that will be all of your public safety area, as well as your 18-wheelers, anything like that. Anything large will be there. Okay. So this just gives you a breakdown of what the days look like. So on Tuesday, rotations begin at 8:30, and I think I had on sign up that it's 8 o'clock. So I really need y'all here as close to 8 o'clock as possible, because I need you in your assigned spot before 8:15. On Wednesday, student rotation, that's for the early morning. I know there's 2 different time slots on Tuesday. There's 2 different time slots every day, but that morning time is the most critical. Oftentimes that second time slot, our volunteers have volunteered for a second. They want to just stay all day because it's not that long of a day. So those morning ones are really critical. On Wednesday, student rotations begin at 9 a.m. We have a VIP breakfast that'll be here, and that will start at 8:30, so that will delay our students starting their rotations a little on Wednesday. And then Thursday is juniors. Tuesday and Wednesday are 8th graders. Thursday are our juniors. Typically, our juniors have had the ability just to roam as they please, because as a junior, you kind of know what you want to do when you graduate. But the teachers and counselors gave us feedback that they wanted them to have class guides and be a little more structured in their rotations. So they will have class guides this year as well. So just make sure you're in your assigned spot about 15 minutes before the rotation actually begins. Next, I'm going to go through the volunteer responsibilities. So just so you kind of get an idea of what you signed up for. Our zone monitors. So your job is going to be to help assist teachers and making sure the students are rotating when they're supposed to. Making sure that the students are interacting with company booths. They're not on their phones, huddled in groups, just hanging out with their friends, chatting. One person in every zone will have a walkie-talkie in case of an emergency. So just, if you're a zone monitor and you're not the one with the walkie-talkie, just kind of figure out who has it. That way, in case something happens, you can go find that person and there's not mass panic if a kid, has a panic attack or a kid's sugar drops and they feel like they're going to pass out. Just try to find the person with the walkie-talkie and we'll get that help to you. If you signed up for Zone 3, you didn't sign up for a zone specifically, but zones 3, 4, and 5 will be outside. So we will have drinks available here. But if you enjoy being outside, when you get here, you can say, hey, I want to be in zone 3, 4, or 5. And we can put you out there, but I'll do my best to accommodate. But sometimes we have to put people in zones where we need them. If you signed up to be a bus parking monitor, you're going to help Andy Green with bus parking. He is our bus parking master. He has it down to a T. So you will just help him make sure it's safe for students to walk to their bus when they get, because like I said, the buses will be parked at the baseball field after they drop them off. So just make sure that there's not cars moving, buses moving in that area as the kids are walking. Help direct the buses. They will be in there very tight, so some of the bus drivers are going to need help getting in or out. So you will be outside if you're a bus monitor, so make sure that you bring sunscreen if it's a really sunny day, a rain jacket if it looks like it's going to rain, or take some water up there with you and all that. If you're a timekeeper, you will be responsible for keeping up with time and letting everyone know when it's time to rotate. So we will give you a schedule of when the air horn needs to be blown. There will be a couple of timekeepers in every zone. Only one of them will have the air horn, and you will hear it all over the place. Because like I said, there's 5 zones. That all the air horns don't always go off at the same time, but they're pretty close. Class guides. These are our most important volunteers. You're all important. We cannot do this without all of you. But our class guides, they will meet the students at the buses. The buses will arrive out here on the lake side, and you will hear Kelly Pierce will be out there, and you will hear her saying, I have Gadsden Middle School. So if you're the Gadsden Middle School class guide, that will be your chance to go meet them, and then you will direct them on their tour here at Worlds of Work. At the end of their time here, you will help lead them back to their bus. Most of the time, the teachers will take them from that point, but just make sure that they have a teacher with them and they are headed in the right direction of the buses. When they're rotating through zones, just kind of help the teachers make sure that you have everybody. And I know you're not going to know whose kids go with what school, but everybody in each zone will have the same color backpack. So everybody who starts in zone 1 may have a blue backpack. So if you're walking around while they're in there and you see a green backpack, you know that child does not belong there. So try to help them find their class guide and where they should go. Our line leaders, our class guides, we need y'all to be energetic and enthusiastic. Be excited for the kids. These kids are 8th graders on Tuesday and Wednesday. They're still trying to figure out what they want to do. They're in a really awkward stage of their life. We all remember 8th grade. So just be excited for them, help them, see what's going on. If they're on their phones, try to encourage them to not. I know we are not their teachers and cannot, get on to them for being on their phones, but let's do our best to not have them. So this is a map that it kind of shows you where everything is. And I will send all of this out in an email just so if you want to look at it. So later, if a kid comes up to you and says, I'm really interested in being a fireman, what zone will I find that in? You'll be able to find that in public safety, and you'll kind of have a knowledge of where all of that is. But we won't go through that step by step. All right, this is just a list of what schools are going to be here. I know some of y'all have specific schools that you want to be with. When I send out the reminder email, or do y'all all get the email, or did Andy send that out to y'all? Okay, so when I send out the reminder email again, if there's a specific school that you want to be with, just shoot me an email back and say, hey, I really want to be with this school if you're a class guide, and I will do my best to put you with that school. Sometimes it doesn't work out, but I will try my best. You can go ahead. Okay. These are the do's and don'ts. The biggest thing, as you can see to over here is no DoorDash. So traffic around the Civic Center is going to get a little crazy. I promise we will feed you. Breakfast will be available each day. There will be snacks available throughout the day, and there will be lunch every day. And that'll be free. So guess what? Your college students, no need to pay for extra food. It'll be here. So no DoorDash. Last year we had, 8th graders and juniors who tried DoorDashing food because they got here and were hungry and had their cell phones. So they decided, I'm just going to DoorDash. Nobody will ever know. Well, somebody did know because the DoorDash driver couldn't get into the Civic Center because we have everything blocked off because we don't need cars in this parking lot where there's students roaming around. There's buses in this parking lot. So don't try to DoorDash anything. And if you hear a kid talking about it, just be like, nope, not happening here. So do's and don'ts. The do's. Make sure you're engaged with the students in any volunteer, if you're a timekeeper, a zone monitor, any of that. Just try to engage with the students. Help direct them to their next zone when they get ready to rotate. Wear appropriate attire. You will all get your WOW t-shirt. I would highly recommend wearing comfortable shoes. And pay attention to the weather. If it looks like it's going to rain that day, you may want to bring a rain jacket. We don't have an area to store stuff, extra clothes, purses, anything like that. But hopefully it's not going to rain and we're not going to have to deal with that. The don'ts. So don't be on your phone texting or talking on it. We should model the behavior for these students that we want to see in our future employees. I know we all have busy lives and we all have, emergencies that may come up, or we all may have a text message that we need to answer, but there will be plenty of volunteers in your area. Just go grab one of them and say, hey, I need to go make a quick phone call. Go do that. Just step off to the side if you need to answer a text, anything like that. I'm not telling you not to have your phone. Try not to eat while you're in the zones. Like I said, the kids, they will eat lunch. Most of them have eaten breakfast at the school, but they're on a field trip, so they think they're hungry when they get here. They're only here for a couple of hours. So let's just try not to eat in the zone in front of them, because then they get curious about what you're eating and they want to try to go find where you got your food. And try not to leave your post unattended. Like I said, if you need to go answer a phone call, answer a text message, anything like that, just tell somebody else in your zone so they can kind of pay attention to what's going on. Identifying students. Like I said earlier, every student will have a color-coded backpack. So if you see an odd backpack color, you know that student doesn't belong there, and let's try to figure out where they do go. You can always find somebody with a walkie-talkie and say, hey, where's Cleburne County Middle School right now? What zone do I need to send this kid to? And we will figure that out. Like I said, breakfast and lunch will be served each day. It will be upstairs also. That is where the food will be. So when you check in, if you want to grab some snacks, get here a few minutes early and you can do that. Yes, t-shirts. T-shirts will be available, like I said, Monday afternoon. I'll be here from 3 to 5:30. But other than that, you can grab it at your volunteer time. So just some need to knows. Each group will rotate at the same time. So when you hear the air horn, you know it's time for all of your students to rotate. Class guides will pick their kids up from the bus. I've already gone through all that. If an emergency occurs, just calmly find a volunteer within your zone and we will address that emergency. And please leave all your personal belongings in your car because we don't have anywhere to store these. If you're a female and you want to bring a purse, I would suggest like a crossbody. Other than that, try to leave everything you can in your car. All right, I know I flew through that really quick and that's a lot of information, but does anybody have any questions? Okay, it'll make sense when you get here, I promise, and you see all the worlds set up. There's going to be signs that direct you to each zone. Sometimes with that many kids trying to move all at the same time, areas will bottleneck. There will be a slowdown, but we just have to move through those and go as we can. I think there might be. Okay. We do still need a few volunteers. Thursday, we really need volunteers. We need some more class guides. So if you know anybody, any of your friends that may want to come volunteer, feel free to send them the link. I think most of y'all have the link. Y'all can scan the QR code, take a picture of the QR code, share it with your friends. Extra volunteers on Thursday is very needed. Is that the end? Okay. So that's the end of my part. I'm going to let Daniel Spencer come talk to y'all a little bit about handling students with disabilities and how to approach them, the do's and don'ts of that, just so we have a great experience for them as well.
Thank you, Jessica. How's everybody doing this morning? You good? All right, good. So real quick, I'm a business relations consultant, and I work with the Alabama Department of Rehabilitation Services. Some of you may have heard of us. You may have heard of the name Voc Rehab or VR. That's one of the programs that's under our umbrella. And so what I do is a lot of times we're asked to go out and we train businesses, community agencies, or whoever, as it relates to anything related to disability and employment. And so it's going to be pouring on for next week. There will be students with disabilities who will be coming in and doing activities, who you will be interacting with. And so I just want to share some things, a few tips, some things with you to help you out, because sometimes if you haven't encountered or been around someone with a disability, you may be unsure or nervous. You may not, understand or know, should I say this? Is it cool to do that? And so I want to kind of help you out so that you have that, to take away a little bit of that uneasiness that you may have. So with that being said, a few things. It's always important when you're working with anyone with a disability, you use people first language. People first language. You don't identify someone with their disability first. So I don't say, look at that wheelchair user. I'll say, look at the individual who uses a wheelchair. You don't say, look at that AIDS victim. You say an individual with. And even as it relates to, so not using the word handicap, cripple. How many of you have used that word, whether it's jokingly or describing someone with disability? I have. I don't do it anymore, but those things happen. And so it's important to understand, to really identify that person, because no one would like to be identified by the things that they've done or in their past, or they may still do, but no one wants to be identified by that first and then them. So no one would say, look at that stealer over there, John, because I automatically think about he steals. John steals, not John himself, the individual. So it's important to focus on that person and not the disability. So you may encounter students who may be in wheelchairs. And so it's important to understand, number one, don't lean on a wheelchair. Don't ask them to hold something on your wheelchair. Don't push their wheelchair if they don't ask. But that wheelchair is an extension of who they are. Also, when you're communicating with them, you would either get down, stoop down, bend down, or you would pull a chair if a chair is available to pull up and to speak to them at their level. You'll also be communicating with individuals who are deaf, hard of hearing, and also those who are blind. So come up here, I'm use you as an example. And I need somebody else. Can I get you an example? Okay, so if there are going to be students from the School for the Alabama Institute for the Deaf and the Blind. And those students, they're going to come in, they're going to have instructors, teachers, but they're also going to have interpreters with them. So they come to the table, or you're interacting with them, and they're going to have their interpreter. So I'll be the student with the disability. What's your name again? Madison. Madison is going to be the interpreter, and this is going to be the employer. So who does, as the employer, does he look at me, or even if it's you as a volunteer, when you're talking to someone who's deaf or hard of hearing, do you talk to me or do you talk to my interpreter? Who says talk to interpreter? Raise your hand. Okay, it's okay. This is a learning moment. Who say talk to me? Are you sure? Are you sure? You 100% sure that's your final answer? So when you're speaking to me, you look at me. So when you're speaking to a student who's deaf or hard of hearing, you look at them. It's going to be very difficult. Now pretend I know you don't know sign. Do you know sign language? Oh no. Okay, so just pretend you're doing sign language. Just pretend you just. So and he's looking at her, but he needs to look at the. You all need to look. Make sure you're looking at me, and I know it's hard because guess who I'm going to be looking at? Her. And so continue to maintain that eye contact. She's looking at me and she's doing that. So I know, don't get in the conversation with the interpreter. Continue to keep your eyes on the person who has the disability. Thank you. Appreciate that. So any questions? Also, a few other tips, and then I'm going to show you this real lighthearted video. You can find it on YouTube. Excuse me, don't assume. Ask first, because you may think you may be helping and they may not need any help. So if you feel like there's a need, I need to hold a door, hey, would you like for me to open the door for you? Because they may already know how to open the door. They may be okay with that. So don't assume that they need help. Always ask first, and don't take things too seriously. So with that being said, any questions? Please ask now, and there's no such thing as a dumb question. Anyone? Okay, so if you show the video.
Good morning, Bob. Morning there. And morning, guys.
There's no need to be awkward. Poor Bob. Like so many of us, he just doesn't know how to interact with people with disabilities.
It's pretty easy, really. People with disabilities are people first.
We need the same things that every person needs, like respect.
Good morning, everyone.
Attention! Okay. Maybe we need to be more specific.
The easiest way to show respect is to focus on the person, not the disability. It's okay. You'll get the hang of it.
One easy way to focus on the person is to watch the person signing and not their interpreter.
Or their companion.
It's really cool that you like to help, but do us both a favor and please ask me first. What you think might be helping, I got you. Oh no, might actually not.
If you'd like to offer me help, let me hold on to your elbow. Don't take mine.
Hey, would you like to take mine?
Sure.
Assistive devices help us to live our lives. They're really important and really personal.
Grabbing them only makes it weird for everyone.
But please only touch our devices and service animals if we've given you permission. And don't take it personally if I ask you not to. Remember that my service animal helps me all the time. Neither of us would like it if we were separated.
Remember, we make our own decisions. We sign documents, vote, volunteer, work, and pay taxes.
We get married.
So don't underestimate me just because I'm a great smile.
Just because I'm blind does not mean I'm deaf.
Just because I'm deaf doesn't mean I'm blind.
And just because I use a wheelchair doesn't mean that I can't sweep you off your feet.
So take a deep breath, relax. We don't fight.
Well, that's what really hungry.
And if you're not sure what to do, just ask.
Hi, would you still like to see a menu?
No thanks, but can you please read it to me?
Sure, definitely.
Just treat us the way you would want to be treated, and we'll all be okay.
Morning. Good morning.
Morning, Alice.
Right.
Awkward no more. Nice job, Bob. Go forth.
Thank you, Daniel. So, like Daniel said, just treat them just like you would treat, any of the rest of the students, but just be aware of certain things. All right, so I do not have anything else. Does anybody have they come up with any questions? Yes. You can wear blue jeans. I mean, as long as you're FAME instructors, I'm fine with it. I'm fine with it. Yes. Definitely be comfortable. So yeah, if y'all have any other questions that you come up with, feel free to shoot me an email, and I will send all of this out in an email as well, just so you'll have it in case you're like, I don't remember what she said about that. And Carl has recorded this, so you'll probably all get the video as well as the people who weren't able to be here today. So thank y'all for coming. Thank you for volunteering. We literally could not make this happen without y'all. If you have more friends who want to volunteer, send them our way. And I will see y'all next week. Thank you.